All right, guys. First off, thanks for joining. Appreciate the support. Just wanted to do a quick touch base. We did have the East versus West qualification finals over this past weekend. Finally decompressed from all the stress and everything that goes along with that. I wanted to do a quick review and some thank yous. First off, I want to thank everybody who was a part of the local qualifications, the directors out there. Hopefully, I don't miss anybody. We got Cobra Roads out in the Midwest. Great event. Texas, Billy Ortega's huge. Chance Shaw in Florida, another huge event. Tim Talmadge out west. We had Dave Depew out west. Both the guys, Billy Berg and the Table Monkeys up in North America, and Gabby Vasconcelos for hosting hers down there. Guys, huge last minute effort. These guys, just so everybody understands how it went down, each one of these events were held, and each one of those events put money into the finals for the payouts. So big thanks for all those efforts that went into that. I know it was a very short notice deal, and you guys really pulled together. Super awesome. Very professional group. Can't wait to work with you guys in the future. Big thanks to Tommy for providing us the venue. Unbelievable. Travis, obviously, putting all the finals together was great. Devin Larrett in the house. John Brezink, the legendary Dave Patton, got to meet him for the first time. Great experience. I know there were some issues with the internet, the hardwired internet. Apologies to everybody who didn't, it was a little laggy and everything, but these are lessons learned, things that'll be mitigated in the future. So yeah, very long day. Venue was absolutely beautiful. It was one of those events that you kind of had to be there to appreciate. So sorry for anybody that couldn't make it, but absolutely amazing energy. And thank you to all the pullers who traveled. I mean, we weren't expecting that type of turnout because we didn't really know who was going to come based on the qualified athletes. But man, we had people from all over South America, Canadians, all over the country. The talent level was something that I don't think we've seen since like the WAL majors and finals. So unbelievable event. And a ton of effort went in from Artem Taranenko as a competitor, as well as help, Robert Kelly for doing the production and the setup work. Obviously, that internet is something that we'll have to correct in the future. But again, lessons learned. So thank you to those guys too. Huge. I just want to go through the event a little bit. Unfortunately, because of the turnout and having to run 4 tables, we're a little bit understaffed. So I wound up having to ref basically the whole time. So James Reed and I, Engen had kind of asked me to be the representative to help organize these qualifiers, which I mean I'm honored to do so, but I'm not necessarily qualified to do that. So obviously I turned to my partner James Reed, and he helped me so much through that process. So James worked like a dog. We wound up working really hard to run those brackets. I spent the entire event reffing. So unfortunately, I still have a lot of match review to do myself. But I was able to loosely catch some of the things that was going on. Hopefully, we can get some type of hard copy or raw from what was filmed, and so we can do some match review. But yeah, tough, long day, and I'd love to in the future maybe be able to sit back and enjoy these matches and watch them. But not how things played out. We wound up reffing pretty much the whole time. So long day, a lot of effort. But man, what great energy having all those guys in the building. So I want to go through basically the finals. Obviously, I didn't get to see all of the leading up tournament to get to those finals, but I did catch some key matches. Man, certain guys really stood out. There was a crazy war between BLM and Jerome Loud. Jerome Loud, so impressive. BLM being able to put him in that hook, and I can't wait to review that match. But I mean, we wound up getting to the finals and we'll go over that. First thing that stands out to me is, how impressive is Dustin Hyatt. I mean, this kid is super impressive. His ability, he wound up in the finals with Sam Harris. And Sam, Sam's been out for quite some time. And I think, the version that he showed on Saturday was a better version than I seen him last time. So Sam is on that comeback road. I think you give that guy another month, 2 months, and we're going to see the same guy that was holding the WAL hammer. That said, regardless of whatever version that Sam came in, it's still Sam. And for Dustin to be able to win in the fashion that he did, first match went to the straps. Dustin was very comfortable and confident there in the hook when he turned it in. And then second match, he was able to hook Sam outside the straps. The first match outside the straps, Sam completely compromised his hand, and Dustin had to kind of go underneath. The second match, Dustin was able to force the hook out of the straps, which is mega, mega impressive. The sky's the limit for this kid. He's 22 years old. He's only getting better. He's already professional. Everything he does is professional. So I'm very, very excited to see who he gets paired up with on the Istanbul stage at East versus West. It's gonna be amazing to see where this kid goes, because he's really nowhere near his ceiling. Moving to the 200-pound class. If you haven't seen Artem Taranenko lately, if you doubt Artem Taranenko because he, started kind of with a little bit more of a YouTube platform, doubt no more. Okay. This guy came in a huge stack class of a lot of top level pullers in that 200-pound weight range, and wound up in the finals with Robbie Russell. And we all know how strong Robbie Russell is. We've seen him have a great match with Adam Warzinski recently. We've seen him beat Craig Touye. We've seen him get wins on Jerome Loud. I mean, this guy's incredible. And Artem, even though the match went 2-1, Artem won the first match with a little bit of back pressure and dropping into like an outside high hook. Second match went into a hook. Robbie took it. Third match pretty much finished the way the first match did. So I think those guys are close for sure, but Artem looked like he was in pretty much in control. He also won the left arm too, very, very handily. And I believe Dustin won the left arm as well. Wish we would have, in hindsight, lessons learned. I think on that pay-per-view finals portion, we would have been able to force the left hand in there too. But there was a lot of concerns with time, being able to start on time and not have it run too long, as well as appease the venue. Moving forward, lessons learned. I think, if we do another iteration of this, I'd love to see, both left and right get that recognition in the finals. So Artem won left, I think, pretty much uncontested. Right was maybe a little bit more contested, but I pulled with this guy afterwards. Every time I pull with Artem, he feels stronger. He feels more technically proficient. So, Artem is going to represent the West, I think, very, very well in Istanbul once he gets his match made. Next class, 240s. In there, that to me, talent-wise, was the deepest class. It didn't have the most competitors, but it was the deepest. We're talking about guys like Matt Mass, BLM. We're talking about Jerome Loud. We're talking about Andre Shark. Like a lot of these guys from what I hear, was the most fun to watch. So on that we had Robbie Topi in the left hand. So Robbie Topi won the left hand very uncontested. And as you guys know, Robbie Topi is normally a guy who competes in the super heavyweights, but he's not a huge stature guy. Like, he's a guy who can make 240 comfortably, which he did that with no problem. And we haven't seen him compete at that weight class, I don't think, in quite some time. But he looked very, very dominant, which is a scary thing at the 240s. He's a guy that I would love to see if there is a left-handed match availability at East versus West. I think he is a prime candidate. I'd actually love to see him pull Pavlo maybe in the States. I think that could be a really cool match, maybe for Monster Factory or something like that. Maybe High Five guys. If you guys want to scoop that up, I think that's going to be a barn burner. In that class, we wound up with Jerome Loud and Matt Mask. Matt Mask won in dominant fashion. And I don't, if this, then this, we never know. But Jerome and BLM had that like death war that wound up going into a hook, having restarts and fouls and all kinds of stuff. I don't know the details on how the match played out. I just remember like pausing my table so I could like rubberneck and look at that match and both restarts. Crazy war. So I don't know how much Jerome had left in the tank, but Matt definitely did appear to be on another level that day. The return of the wild horse, man. He's like Devin said, he's kind of, he's proven and reestablishing that he is, the top 240 guy in this country. or in North America. So Matt looked extremely stellar. And then that moves us on to the super heavyweights, which was a one that, man, that was so hard to predict. I mean, I thought I had Nick Stone as a favorite coming in. Rick Heidelbrick got Nick Stone first round. Rick Heidelbrick from Canada, and he pulled back into like a high hand driven hook where Nick had no access to side pressure, and they wore each other out in that first round. And then we had the entrance of Ben Kennedy. If you don't know Ben Kennedy, I've seen him pull a couple other times, but man, not a big super heavyweight. But in that tournament, his timing was impeccable, and he was firing this shoulder driven side pressure press. He flashed Rick Heidelbrick, he flashed Paul Cruz, like it was or not, yeah. But he had like three or four big unexpected flash pins in that tournament, which took him to the finals against Brad Grundy. Brad Grundy, another guy, not that big. I think he's only about 250. He was a guy that was talking about like he wished he would have qualified at the 240s. So anyway, Brad Grundy winds up winning that in the finals. I think he just kind of had a better stylistic approach to Ben's dead load hit. So hats off to Brad. I'd love to see Brad talk to Engen a little bit. I'd love to see Brad in a 115 kg match, which I think is more around his walk around weight. So it'll be interesting to see Brad. He's another young guy. He can do just about everything. His hand's really, really good. Got a good arm, everything. So I think he could be a great stylistic matchup depending on who he's given over there. We could see some really good things about Brad. Plus he's young. He's only going to keep getting better, and he looks better every time I see him. That takes us to the women. With the women's 154 class, wound up with Michelle Dugan in the finals with Elizabeth Moet. And Elizabeth looked to be in phenomenal condition. This was a good match. It was very close. Both ladies pull very similarly, and I think there was only maybe 1 or 2% difference, maybe in the containment strength in the hand. But Elizabeth was able to pull that out. She's another one, young, driven, professional, getting stronger, like great physique, learning. The sky's the limit for her. And then takes us to the supers. We had Sarah McKinley win that against a young lady. And I apologize, I don't remember the name. This is the first time I met this young lady. And she's very impressive in the lead up. I ref that the women's pro. So I'm super strong, deep hook, had some really good matches with Jim Bryan's daughter, Kaylin Bryan. But Sarah McKinley was just a little bit too much, a little bit more hand. And she won that match comfortably. So interested to see on who Sarah's going to match up with. Just overall thoughts from the event as a whole and some things I wanted to clear up. Because I saw a few people post some things on there about the last chance qualifier. So just to be completely open with that, when James, Travis, and Engen and I were all talking about this, I get a little patriotic, right? So like when we had the finals, we had the qualifications, and then we had the gap between that and the finals. We started reaching out to people to see who was coming. We didn't get a whole lot of solid, like, hey, I'm going to be there no matter what, like to be able to predict how big the classes were going to be. And I talked a little bit with Engen. We're hoping to get at least 8 guys in a class. There was going to be 18 slots. So we made the decision a few weeks out to do the last chance qualifier, either the day before or same day. Basically talking to the pullers and travel availability of the few guys that were going to come, it was going to be better to do it on Saturday. So basically the concept there was to fill those brackets up to that 18-20 mark or whatever. So what happened was we only had 14 guys come to the last chance qualifier. So some people were saying, well, it's not fair or whatever. It kind of was a decision that needed to be made to hopefully present the best opportunity or the best pullers that we have to come out of the West. And that, there's guys with reasons they couldn't get to a qualifier or whatever. So we did the last chance qualifier. The thing was, not enough people showed up in any one of those classes to meet that 18 number. So it was basically a default in. So guys, we talked to the last chance qualifier pullers, and they're not like they're going to lay down if they don't have to win a spot in. So that's kind of how that worked. At the end of the day, we're talking about 14 pullers out of 135 that showed up. We had no idea we were going to get that many people to show up. So And when it was all said and done, if you look at it, none of those guys who came to the last chance qualifiers actually won the tournament. But that's hindsight. Hindsight's 2020. Obviously, moving forward, um, if we do another iteration, and I spoke to Engen today about it, I think he's excited about the future and doing this again. We won't need to offer any last chance qualifiers, or if we do them weeks in advance. But that was, these are just lessons learned, and it was an effort to do what we thought was best in the moment. Sometimes those decisions are tough, but we did make a vote on it. I know there's some people saying it was a cash grab. There was no cash grab there. Like, and just to dispel any of that, I don't know who people think is getting money from this, but as being the U.S. representative, I have made no money. As a matter of fact, I work for from sun up to sundown, and we actually had some prize money that was either misplaced or picked up by somebody. I don't know, but $1,000 went missing out of the prize money. So at the end of the day, I had to kind of come out of my pockets with that. So there is no cash grab. There is no money being made. We've just kind of aligned with Engen on the idea of like, yeah, we'll put a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears into this to hopefully grow the sport and do the right thing for the right reason. So there's there's no financial gain. I can guarantee you there is no financial gain for me. So it's just interesting to see the comments. Obviously, we'll adapt to that moving forward. And in the next iterations, this was the beta test year, but what was very encouraging, the turnout that we got at the finals. I would love to see when we do this next year. Hopefully, the proof is in the pudding now, and everyone sees that the matches are going to happen. This is nothing to be jaded over. Like, I know the WAL came out, the final days of the WAL might have jaded some people with that finals falling through. Engen's a different dude. When at the end of the day, he's not a businessman. He's a man of his word. So which is why I love working with him. So we're rolling some ideas around now, just spitballing for the future. If you were a director, guys, thank you for doing that. We want to extend that opportunity again. We'd like to expand on that a little bit and hopefully provide an opportunity for more qualifiers so more people can get qualified, as well as increase the payouts. So we're working on how we can do that, where we can increase the payouts but decrease that amount asked from the qualifying directors. So that money all came from the qualifying directors. The amount of money that was given per event, we'd like to reduce that and increase the amount of qualifiers that are held, so that the pullers have more and it's less stress on the directors. Because at the end of the day, hosting events is absolutely no fun. And I know I don't do it for money. I do it and I hopefully don't lose money, but sadly, that's kind of how it works sometimes. When you don't have sponsors, you don't want to chase them. So it's interesting. If anybody's out there and wants to sponsor these qualifiers, not going to ask for it, but if you want to be involved, it would be lovely to be able to decrease some overhead and be able to increase those payouts without having all the stress at the very end, and the chance of losing money, which does and did happen a little bit. So again, awesome event, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Getting to after pool with those guys, pull a little bit with Devin. Devin is a monster right now. A monster. Feels so much stronger than last time we pulled. Just getting to chop it up with all you guys. Meet some of you guys from Canada that I never met. Some of you guys from South America. Huge. So happy to be able to do that. Just to be able to feel that energy that was in the building is irreplaceable. So again, just big thanks to Travis. Big thanks to the man Engen Terzi who put all this in place. It is easy for me to get behind this guy because I know his intentions are pure. He's proven it to me over and over and over again. And it's so easy for me to be able to align with a guy like that. And I'm real interested to see how this coming iteration goes. It's going to be exciting. Stay tuned, guys. Hopefully we'll have some more information about that coming out soon. But I can tell all you guys that did qualify, I spoke to Engen, and he is already rolling around match options. So I know there's probably some that are going to get offered here shortly. So stay tuned. We'll be in contact. If Engen doesn't reach out to you directly, I probably will. But it'll probably take some time. That'll probably be within, probably one match will pop up on the July card. maybe one or two in August. Then we have October coming after that. So hang tight. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If there's any questions about whatever decisions were made and you want more clarity, I'm here to give you that. But I can tell you this, whether decisions were good or bad, or right or wrong, they all came with good intentions. So thank you everybody that helped us. Big thanks again to all the staff, to Scott Wynn for ref and Tim Talmadge, Bart Wood. Those guys were amazing. I'll see you guys again soon. Can't wait to get these details ironed out. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Just wanted to give a quick my thoughts on the event as a whole. And thank you for your support. This is an effort to grow arm wrestling, and it's so easy to do this with Angan because he is, the godfather of this stuff, and he's coming with the purest of intentions. So can't wait for the future. Can't wait to see the growth continue. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.